Hey Packers, happy Friday. Whenever you're watching this, Friday is when we're doing day two, anyways. And I hope you're doing well. The sun is coming out here in my neck of the woods as I start this, which is a good thing. It's a good indicator. I feel like this has been a good week for me, connecting with some of y'all, getting people to reach out and share some information, which has been great. And I'm also getting better at communicating with your teachers. So that's been positive. Um, Today is kind of just a continuation day. With this stuff, I'm going to take a deep breath and try to say a little bit less. But let's start where we normally do, which is kind of what's going on in the world, right? This week, Governor Tim Walz, great name, former social studies teacher, former football coach, he kind of announced that there's going to be a small change in plans, right? In what he calls the Stay Safe Minnesota plan. It really doesn't change a ton of stuff, still trying to slow down the spread of COVID-19, but just saying to places, if you can limit the contact of people, that there are places where you can do that, right? So, for example, if a store were to open, but they only let a few people in, and they're able to clean things up when everybody leaves, and they're able to keep the distance, right? Because we know that's the big thing, right? If you're in a closed contact area with people for a longer period of time, like say a classroom for an hour, that's when the likelihood of the virus spreading goes way up. And that's why jobs like these meatpacking plants have seen huge spreads because people are working in very close proximity with each other, breathing on each other, stuff like that. So there hasn't been a lot changed, right? He's just kind of said, if you can prove that you're going to follow these expectations that we know keep people safe, you could open certain stores, certain things like that. But anything where there's going to be a large group of people, like a rock concert, that's been the type of places that we know spread the virus very quickly. So that was the news. One thing is at this point, right, just trying new things that nobody asked, but I just wanted to share. I challenged myself over this time to try reading books by authors that I'm not familiar with, or maybe even authors that I don't like. And I've done that twice, and it was hard, but I'm really glad I did it. And I think a lot of us, if our mental health is solid, are at a point where we can start to say, okay, what is something new or challenging that I can take on and see where it goes? Now, obviously, if our mental health is an issue, if we're not sleeping well, if we're not getting enough exercise, if we aren't talking to people about how we're feeling, that's got to be goal number one. Now, the do now today is a survey. So I got close. I think I still kept it into the expectation that the do now won't take more than 5 minutes. But it will take, unlike the 15 seconds that it's taken, there's about 4 questions, but they're all opinion, and it should take you about 5 minutes. Now, I try to make really clear in the directions that I'm going to share everybody's answers, but I'm going to hide who said it, right? So I'm going to record who said what in case somebody does something silly, but nobody else is going to see that Sarah said X, Y, and Z. They're just going to see the X, Y, and Z, the information that she or he shared. So this do now is a survey. It's in the same place. It's a Google form rather than in Schoology, but I just want to make sure that you know, collecting your information, but I'm not going to share it. And I think it'll be kind of fun. What I want to do is get this document where you can see kind of maybe different ideas, different things people have been doing, because we don't have any large group discussions. I think it was the right decision not to have like they'll do in the elementary school, like a Zoom circle time or something, but I would have loved to have been able to do that with you once a week, twice a week. Just have everybody gridded up on the screen and see where everybody's at. So these digital learning activities, this activity that you were assigned on Wednesday, that many of us are going to finish up today, I'm assuming, based on the research that you did on that document on the Monday as Tuesday assignment, that you know stuff. That's where I'm assuming. Okay. Now, if you don't, that's something we can go back and work on. But I'm assuming that you know what the Montgomery bus boycott was all about, or the Selma March, or what have you. It has to be more than what the kids at Kaposia know. Love the kids at Kaposia, but the kids know, okay, Rosa Parks, she was on a bus, right? Martin Luther King, he gave a speech, he got killed. Okay, you have to present new information, and that's what I tried to model for you last week was new information about this stuff. So it has to be more information that you're sharing than the kids at Kaposia know. And then this is the test. If we showed your content to a ninth grader from Missouri, wherever, what could they or would they learn? And I can tell you that if it's a boring poster, they're not going to learn anything from it. Or if it's a confusing paragraph, they're not going to learn anything from it. So that's what we want us to think about as some of us are fine-tuning, putting our best effort onto these projects. Now, these are two really interesting photographs that I wish we could have a classroom discussion about. A student shared these with me, and I think they're really powerful, right? Because this gets into this question of like, what is passed down when it comes to racism, right? And if from a young age you're taught to disrespect somebody, right? Here we have what is a African-American state trooper who's actually protecting the rights of the Ku Klux Klan to exist. So we have this really weird position for these African-American state troopers to be in charge of allowing that sort of free speech that we've talked about. But the Ku Klux Klan thing, a little bit easier to see and be like, well, that's garbage, right? But what we're increasingly seeing in society, right, is racism not looking like something from a movie, right? Here we have Dr. King meeting the leader of the Nazi party back in the 60s. And this guy, except for obviously the pipe idea is a little dated, but you see this guy walking down the street, you think, oh, businessman, business person, right? And so we're pretty clear, like if we saw somebody with a KKK outfit on, we'd be like, ah. But increasingly, the racism is continuing to be present in America, but it's not taking on that sort of movie style scariness. It looks more like a quote unquote regular person. And that's the challenge. And then there's just so much to unpack in these photos. I'm really glad that I never seen them before till this week. But just the expressions on the faces and what must have been going on. So this is the part that I wanted to get to. Thanks for sticking with me here. These are some common errors I saw. Now, if you're doing a student study tool, you can't assume that the person knows much, but they might learn by getting questions wrong. In fact, that's one of the best ways we learn. So don't feel like it's an unfair question as you make these Kahoots. Well, if I'm giving this to a ninth grader from Missouri, how could they possibly know? Well, they're going to guess, and they're going to get it wrong, and then they're going to see the right answer, and that's a way to learn. So your Kahoot or your flashcards, your quiz, they might not know the answer, but they're going to learn through doing this, right? And that's the power of that. Two quick reminders on the paragraph. If you're writing it, we always, in academic writing, avoid phrases like I think or my belief is. We just cut that out. Just rework the sentence so it doesn't have that. And there should be in your paragraph 3 key points. You're not going to go in depth into those because, again, with the paragraph, what you're doing is setting up what could have been a longer essay, but you won't write the other 4 paragraphs. But in that opening paragraph, you'll talk about this thing, and then this thing, and then this thing. So make sure you highlight those 3 key points. The digital poster, understand it's a popular one. Number 1, I tried to stress this in the directions. If you're just having paragraphs, then you need to turn in the paragraph assignment. A digital poster can't have paragraphs, should be more bullet points. If you're going to have photos, that's great, but you need to tell the people what they're looking at. You can't just throw up a picture of a random person and assume they'll know. And then I think it would be hard to have a quality poster without a title. I'm not saying you can't do it, but it's hard for my brain to imagine a way to do a digital poster without some kind of creative title. And then the artwork, it's really hard. Again, not impossible because some people are way creative. But it'd be hard to prove you understand the story with at least without submitting also, say, 3 to 5 sentences on what you drew, excuse me, why you drew it, etc. So those are kind of some of the common errors that I'm seeing. If you need me to unsubmit something that you turned in, or if you have more individual questions, again, this is my job. I like doing it. And one of the things I'm most excited about with this assignment is I got to talk to a lot more students than I have the last couple of weeks. Now, maybe we're just getting more comfortable, or maybe this was the kind of assignment that encourages dialogue. So that's the part that we want to take care of because technically, right, this is an assignment that you got on Wednesday, but you could, in theory, turn it in all the way through the weekend. But with the weather looking like it does, you probably want to finish it today. All right. I care about you. I miss you. I hope you are well. Reach out if you need help. And I hope you have a safe, distanced weekend. Take care. Go Packers.